Blizzard's got a new survival game in the works. This in particular isn't new news. We actually first learned of the title in January of this year when the company soft announced it in a blog post seeking new hires, where they said, Blizzard is embarking on our next quest. We are going on a journey to a whole new universe, home to a brand new survival game for PC and console, a vast realm of possibility waiting to be explored. They went on to say that they were looking to build a team of developers excited to work on a brand new project in the early stages of development. There were numerous positions available for roles in the art, design, and engineering teams, many of which have been filled by this point, by the way, and those listings gave us some glimpses of information about what we might expect from the game, beyond it just being like a next-gen survival game. Besides the reveal that Blizzard was making a new survival title, just the fact that the company had a brand new IP in development for the first time since Overwatch was news and a pleasant surprise. Although response was somewhat muted at the time, with Blizzard still deep in the throes of its ever-growing list of controversies, and recollection that they even announced this game seems to have just kind of faded into the background. Nevertheless, in the months since the reveal, some brand new information has surfaced, including most recently some leaked details about the game from someone who has seen it running in action, as in they have seen actual real-life gameplay as recently as just a couple of months ago and shared some of those specifics, and from what was said, it does sound pretty darn cool. I want to dive into all of that and everything we know about the game, but first let's get a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored once again by Ridge Wallet, the durable, built-to-last wallets designed to help streamline what you carry around. Since I got my first Ridge Wallet about a year or so ago now, I haven't used anything else since. To put it simply, it carries everything I need and it is nice and compact, which I appreciate. Some of the bullet point features include the fact that it can hold up to 12 cards and also has room for cash with the strap in the back. They've got over 50,000 5-star ratings and are made out of these durable materials, coming with a lifetime warranty as well as a 45-day risk-free trial. If you don't like it, ship it back and get your money. Available in over 30 colors and styles. And currently, Ridge is hosting a giveaway for a Bronco. With every dollar spent on their website before September 30th, you'll be entered to win a brand new upgraded Ford Bronco or $75,000 if you prefer cash. If you want to learn more and check out Ridge Wallet for yourself, go ahead and head to ridge.com/force or check out the link in the description below. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to dive into the latest information that we've got. This comes from Jez Corden on the Xbox 2 podcast, who claims to have seen gameplay from as recently as just a couple of months ago. After a few drinks and much to the chagrin of his co-host, he decided to spill some of the details. He said that the game is code-named Odyssey, and right out the gate, he thinks it looks amazing. Specifically, he made mention of several other titles when describing the look and aesthetic of the game. He said that at a glance, it reminds him a lot of Everwild, which is the upcoming fantasy title from Rare. Now, while we haven't seen gameplay footage of that game, the trailers that they've released do have a very distinct look, and the comparisons that he's making would make sense to me, even just from the concept art that Blizzard released during the reveal. It seems to give a similar vibe to what Everwild was also presenting. Further descriptors that he used around the game's visuals and the setting included fantasy, fairy tale, magic, and a touch of steampunk, all with a through line of that classic Blizzard look, almost like Pixar inspired. And beyond Everwild, he also said that the game's world reminds him quite a bit of Fable. Now, in terms of the gameplay itself, he said that it's a survival title with what looks to have a lot of base building mechanics. There was also complex machinery with a fairy tale twist. He made mention of having seen what appear to be alchemy stations in the game. And also, he said it was similar in ways to titles like Fallout 76 in that it has these mercantile mechanics where you're able to kind of make your own vendor stations. As an example, he said that you could set up a potion shop, crafting unique concoctions that you were then able to list and sell to other players. The gameplay that he saw was all in first person. This is something that we learned earlier in the game's history, that this is supposedly a first person title, with the character running around with a bow and using some elements of magic, although he didn't go into much detail here. He also stated that he doesn't get the sense that the game is MMO in nature, but more survival with RPG RPG elements along the lines of games like Ark or Grounded, although it might be more MMO than he has the indication of, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, he wrapped all of this talk up by saying that just in general, he thinks the game looks amazing. He doesn't have any particular idea when we're going to get an official reveal. I mean, makes sense because do keep in mind, we still don't even have a name for this game at this point. It's just referred to as Blizzard's unannounced survival game with some concept art that they've released. And that is like the latest information. This is what we just got very recently. Now, do remember that these are technically leaks, so we don't know for sure whether or not they're real, but I will add, established games journalist Jason Schreier confirmed in the Reddit thread about this that the codename Odyssey is in fact real. This, to me at least, lends a lot more credit to the rest of the information. If this guy knows the codename, he's probably not lying about what he saw. Also, I will add just the nature of the reveal of him sharing this information, his demeanor, the way he spoke about it, came across as very authentic, as just a guy talking about some early footage that he saw. And also, far as I can tell, Jez Corden is a reputable source in himself. Like, there's no reason for me to doubt what he's saying here. That said, I totally believe everything that he's mentioned and he's revealed. Now, it's not like that much real info was revealed. You know, we know it's now a fantasy-themed survival game, which we kind of figured from the concept art. We know that it looks good. Stuff like the working machinery and the player shops, that's technically new information, which is pretty cool. And yeah, all of it does sound cool. All of these details, they're nice to get. Sounds pretty interesting, even if some of it is a little vague in nature. Now, I did reach out as well for some further information, but basically it looks like all of the info from the podcast is all we're going to be hearing about the game for now. But we do know a lot more. As I mentioned, bits and pieces of information about this game have come out in the time since it was revealed back in January. So let's dive into that. So what details particularly do we have? Well, of course, we know it is a survival game, but like a full-on survival game with a lot of similarities to titles like Ark, Rust, or even Valheim with that Blizzard aesthetic and that Blizzard polish. In some discussions shortly after the initial reveal, one Reddit user claimed to have seen an early development screenshot, and they said it was first person with a cartoon fantasy-esque art style. It had that typical survival game UI with food, water, and what seemed to be temperature indicators. There were also faction and quest indicators. Now, they claim to have seen this when one of their gaming buddies, who also worked at Blizzard, accidentally posted a screenshot of the game, and then they went on to say that the screenshot was extremely bland. It was not meant to be seen by anyone other than Blizzard employees, but it was interesting nevertheless. So if we believe this, it looks like we're going to get some standard survival stuff. We're going to have meters and upkeep systems for food, water, and temperature. Then with that RPG layer of quest and factions layered on top. Fair enough, makes sense. Not particularly surprising if true. Also, shortly after the reveal, World of Warcraft content creator Taliesin said that he was told prior to the reveal that this game was going to be Ghibli style in its visual sense, but also a social-focused MMO. Now, that does contradict what we had heard from that leaked information earlier, but that was also from someone just looking at gameplay and intuiting what they were seeing. And the idea that this is MMO in nature is further supported by additional evidence. Now, what exactly that means in terms of the game size and its player base, that is all nothing but speculation. If I were to guess, if we're saying that this really is Blizzard's quote next MMO, I would assume it's less World of Warcraft and more Destiny in nature. I'm not thinking that we're going to be getting dedicated servers that we pick and put our character on with thousands of players each, but more likely you'll see people running around, there will be phasing and stuff like that. That would be my assumption. Now, again, supporting the evidence that this might be MMO in nature is the fact that not too long ago, Blizzard had a brand new job posting listed for the game's lead social designer, which stated successful candidates will motivate players to engage with each other in ways both competitive and collaborative, forming new bonds of friendship or rivalry, and ultimately developing those bonds into meaningful relationships. So with that mention of both co-op and competitive play, I would say it's safe to assume that we are looking at what's probably a shared world game, if it's not full-on MMO, where you can find other people in the game and then work together or even engage in PvP. And again, kind of seems like a no-brainer. It is very much so in line with a lot of other games in the survival genre. This isn't particularly new or groundbreaking concepts, but I do appreciate the apparent confirmation that this isn't just going to be like matchmake with your friends or something like this, that we might be getting an actual semi-open shared world MMO-esque kind of thing. That would be really cool. I would love to see it. Now, in terms of how far along this game is in development, I know we just got this soft reveal not too long ago. I should point out that during that first reveal, Blizzard president Mike Ibarra said that after playing for several hours himself, he was excited about the team's vision for the game. Playing several hours implies that the game is playable. On top of that, we do know that the game's actually been in development for about 5 years now. This detail comes from project lead Craig Amai's LinkedIn page, which states that he began work on the game in July 2017. Prior to that, he's actually been with Blizzard since 2004, starting out as the senior game master for World of Warcraft before moving on to senior game designer and eventually lead quest designer before shifting into this new survival project in 2017. But yeah, starting on this in 2017 means that this game has been in some sort of development for about 5 years. Although much of that time could very well have been pre-production, just the fact that the game is in a playable state, as evidenced by Blizzard's president having some hands-on time, and the gameplay footage seen and detailed by Jez Corden, I gather that the game has probably been in some sort of full production for maybe about 2 or so years right now, maybe 2 to 3 years of pre-production and roughly 2 years of full production, or flip-flop those. Either way though, the game is in a position where it is functioning enough to be playable and have some sort of gameplay footage to show. I have also heard, I should note as well, that it doesn't appear like everything's there. We're not talking about fully fleshed out with all of the visuals and the animations in place and all of the textures loaded even. It's not in that kind of a state, but it's in a state where there's something functioning that people can play to test out mechanics and try systems and work on engaging with the game space, which is pretty cool. It's somewhat far along in production. It's not like they haven't started putting it together. It's playable. That's exciting. Something else that's also pretty exciting to me is just the discussion that's popped up around this game from people within the games industry. Shortly after they announced the title and those open positions, several past and existing Blizzard employees commented on the project. For example, Jeffrey Virtue, who is currently the executive producer of Riot's Teamfight Tactics, was the co-lead for this survival game from Blizzard between 2019 and 2021. Now, he said that he thinks this is a project that is going to have a big impact on the games industry. Others had similarly glowing things to say. Andrew Porter, the senior concept artist at Blizzard, said, "Finally excited to see our game gently emerge into the public. This is what I've been working on since I joined Blizzard. I can't say much, but the team and the project are amazing, and it's the best game dev experience I had." And then Katie Mallon, who is a game writer at Turtle Rock currently, previously worked at Blizzard, and she said she's stoked to see the game that she followed internally for so long finally announced, proud of everyone working on it, and can't wait to play. It is going to be spectacular. Jason Schreier further added around this time, for what it's worth, even some of the most disgruntled Blizzard employees rave about this game and team. And do remember that this came at a time when Blizzard was getting non-stop blasted online and in the press for its myriad of controversies, bad practices, lawsuits, and investigations, during which countless Blizzard employees were openly vocal with their grievances. But in spite of all of that, many of them still had predominantly positive things to say about this game and the team working on it. Now, that doesn't excuse or override any of those other issues, but it does speak to the positive impression that the game itself left on these individuals, which is a good sign for the game, Blizzard's larger struggles notwithstanding. And I think what's most exciting to me about this project is that this appears to be the first real big AAA attempt at multiplayer survival. Most of the games in this genre have come from smaller development studios with not nearly the budget Blizzard has, especially now after this Microsoft acquisition. And I've always considered Blizzard one of the best gameplay first developers. Even with the myriad of issues some of their games may have, in my eyes, they are still top class in delivering games that feel great to play. Diablo 3 for ARPGs, World of Warcraft for MMOs, Overwatch for FPS. These are some of the best feeling games in their respective genres. Getting that kind of a polish of game in a survival title, that is an exciting premise. That is really exciting to me because yes, a lot of survival games, a little janky, to put it lightly. Now that said, you know, with the direction modern Blizzard and AAA gaming in general has moved in, monetization, I'm sure will be a conversation to be had, and we will wrestle with that once those details start rolling in. No doubt, season passes, cosmetic stuff, all of that is probably going to be in this game. But in the meantime, though, I'm just excited to be having something new to look forward to, something new from Blizzard to be excited about. Novelty, even if it is just in polish and a fresh coat of paint, is a big part of what keeps gaming interesting after all of these years. So yeah, it's exciting that a new survival game from Blizzard is in the works, that a new IP from Blizzard is in the works. It is exciting with all of the caveats tied around Blizzard and their games tacked onto it. It is still nevertheless exciting. So what's next? Well, it's still early days, even with 5 years of development behind them. Blizzard themselves said that the game is in the early stages. Speaking with PC Gamer, they specifically said, "We're excited to share a glimpse of a new project and posted some job openings to build the team to bring its vision to life. However, we are in the early stages of development and do not have anything more to share at this time." Again, this was back in January around the reveal. Although I will say, I do think there's a decent chance that we get some official reveal in the not too distant future. And even if it's just the game's name and a logo or maybe some more concept art, next BlizzCon seems highly probable. Although mind you, next BlizzCon still hasn't been officially announced. Last news around BlizzCon was that they were taking 2022 off to reimagine the event. Now we did get BlizzCon Line back in February, but that's like a more truncated version of the show. Probably going to be getting another one of those in 2023 until we hear otherwise. That is the assumption. I do suppose there's a possibility that they reveal something at this year's Game Awards. That's been a hot spot for new reveals, but I'm not sure because I have to assume they would prefer to have a big reveal of their next major IP, a brand new IP. They would prefer to have that at a BlizzCon, right? Even if it was at BlizzCon Online. We'll have to see. I will say though, with Overwatch 2 launching this fall and Diablo 4 planned to release in 2023, Blizzard is in the position where at least like officially revealing the name of the game and, like I said, maybe a logo, maybe some more concept art. That seems very likely. Even if we are years away from launch, it seems likely that we will be getting something official, maybe later this year, much more likely in 2023. But either way, there you go. That is all the new stuff, everything we know about Blizzard's upcoming survival title. Pretty exciting stuff, even if a lot of it is vague. Having a new novel experience, even if it is just polish and a new skin, a new coat of paint, which is what Blizzard historically has been good at, that's exciting to me. And yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to wait till we learn more, get more of the nuances behind the title, and we'll have that conversation about microtransactions once those details start coming out, because that's always fun, right? But that's it for me today. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. Hope you enjoy the content. See you in the next one, right? Take it easy.